boys and girls. We are live with the weather report, March 16th, 2021. What the hell's happening? Why do the days keep going so fast?
I don't know, but
What are we gonna-
the faster they go, the faster May will come.
Yeah, but then the faster you die.
Well, that's true, but at least I'll finally die happy.
Right.
Maybe.
Wow, that got dark.
Yeah. Or you know what? I plan on living forever.
Anyway, so let's see. I had a thing on brains this morning. I was talking about brains, thinking about brains. Brains. Ever since you got that vaccine, Scott, you've been sounding more and more into brains.
Yeah.
Hey, Scott, how's the microchip working for you?
Yeah.
Oh, it's doing great. I think I opened up my neighbor's garage door by accident. But, I'm not saying I'm into that microchip conspiracy, but
No, I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, every time
Hey,
I boot up my Mac, the Windows operating system comes up with the bell and the ever since the vaccine. So I don't know if that means anything, but
Hey, Scott. You got a timer around?
Scott's
do I have a timer? Yes, I have a timer like on my phone.
Okay. So I want you to time yourself every 5 minutes, and for at least the beginning part of this stream, every 5 minutes, you gotta say brains in that voice.
Okay. I
Anyway,
can do that.
so yesterday, I don't know, Danny was going off in chat. I see answer, like if I look at the chat, I see answers in atheism, just almost like this big red block of Danny yelling at me because apparently Midnight got something wrong in his critique of the way Danny was talking to him. That was a non sequitur, and not that I give it, but it was interesting. And then he comes up with, you're not going to be able to support any of what you're saying, which is a weenie thing to do. And what frame do analytic philosophers come from? Do you even know what you're talking about? And so I think I was talking about frames and how you frame things. But the interesting thing about analytic philosophers, they tend to pick out their favorite words, desire, belief, knowledge, knowing, whatever. And these are all terms from what is called folk psychology. And folk psychology is something we all develop and learn about very early in life. And it's more properly called theory of mind, where we start to understand other people's minds in terms of concepts in our own mind. And then we also end up with an idea of what our mind is based on what other minds are, which is problematic. Now, a lot of philosophers, when they talk about philosophers of the mind, I'm not going to get too far into this, but a lot of philosophers, they want to believe that we all have first-person access to our own minds, and I deny that. I don't think we have first-person access to our own minds. We use concepts and other minds to try to guess what our mind is doing, and we think we know what our mind is, but we don't know what our mind is, and we have no access to it. Looking at your own mind is like trying to turn your eyeball back and look at itself in order to see what your eyeball is seeing. Okay.
I mean, I would completely disagree with that because in one instance you're trying to, you're trying to physically look at yourself, and the other, you're using your mind to
look at your mind.
Yeah, you're using your mind to look at your mind, like, and you know what? Funny enough, I've actually thought about this a lot, right? because
if you disagree with me, apparently not enough.
Well, I'm trying to get to my point here, right?
Okay,
like,
go ahead.
I've always, people have always told me I'm delusional, right? Okay, so I thinking about it. Okay, so how can I, let me try again. How can I analyze my own thoughts to make, to see whether I am delusional or not? But then, but then I can make the argument is that, well, well, I have a delusion that I can do that. Like, you know what I mean? It's just this. The mind is so messed up when you think about it, because it's like it's built on feedback loops.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I could have I could have the false belief that I can analyze my own brain to come up with with a rational conclusion, and I can justify my beliefs so they're not false, but that in itself is false. I just I love the mind. Seriously.
But
I
the
love this
idea
little bitch.
the idea is, if you introspect and you try to see what's going on in your own mind, obviously some time has gone by between what was in your mind to what you're finding in your mind while you're finding what's in your mind. So all you're doing is creating more mind ahead of you, and now you have to introspect that and introspect that, and you never actually catch up with yourself. So
I mean, I would disagree, because I'm able to do that, but that's just me.
yeah, but you're delusional. You admitted it. So
No. Screw
you've
you,
already admitted
Speed.
that.
No. I didn't admit to anything, buddy. I'm just saying I could be. It could be
Good.
argued that I'm delusional. Okay, you're in my wheelhouse now, or kind of.
I heard you admit delusional, so I don't know.
No. I didn't admit I'm delusional. I said it could be argued that I have a false belief that I can't analyze my thoughts. So the beliefs are not false. I'm doing horrible at fucking explaining it, but yeah.
Yeah, well, the thing is, we can learn certain things about our minds and about what we were looking at a few minutes ago, but you can never actually access your own consciousness, because you are just changing what you're conscious of.
Well, Speed, I guess.
I mean,
I got something for showing that you can turn your somebody. I mean, in SpongeBob, that has turned his eyes backwards into his brain. Like
yeah.
But
We don't
will I get a copyright strike?
probably. So yeah, just having the image
just
up there.
Just the few seconds of it.
That's all right. Whatever.
Just to remind people that have seen it.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying, or what I'm pushing.
Yeah, I know, but that it doesn't really work, right? Jesus Christ, Scott! I'm about to.
The other thing is that I want to push back on is that everybody knows what their mind is. That is just such bullshit.
Oh no! Okay, no. You know what? On that, I will agree with, because not everyone has the ability to introspect. Not everyone has the ability to hear their own voices in their head. I forget what that's called, but that's fairly interesting, right? There are times when you just sit there and you can actually hear your own voice in your head. Yeah, some people don't really have that.
Yeah, one of the things they found out is when you're hearing your own voice in your head, or when you're verbalizing anything, they found out that your premotor cortex and part of your motor cortex is activating, and your jaw muscles and your voice box and everything are actually pre-activating. So you're actually going through the motions of talking when you think you're thinking about talking. So if you think about doing anything, you'll find some premotor activity getting ready for it, which is kind of
it is interesting, and also that I think that's the same thing that happens with visualization, right?
Yeah.
If you visualize yourself passing a test, and then you pass the test, you could say, okay, there's a whole thing about visualization that's very interesting. You know what I mean?
And Danny says here, knowing yourself is a kind of knowledge called self-knowledge, and it's unlike any other kind of knowledge, and that is patently false. Your brain does what your brain does, and knowledge is just knowledge, and it doesn't matter if you think you're knowing yourself or not. When you're knowing yourself, you're probably actually knowing something entirely different than what you think you're knowing. Well, and those are also things that I would push back against.
Okay, so I get to ask you something, because now we're getting. This is interesting. It was interesting the entire stream, but how do you feel about self-compassion, self-acceptance, self-esteem? Let's see, what other selves are self-love. What else? You know what? Fuck it. Those 4 selves.
Pretty confused because you don't really know what yourself is to begin with. So I mean, why even? But I mean, those are cultural and social constructs that we've come up with that sound cool, but when you look into them,
Well,
they're pretty complex.
Well, yeah, they're pretty complex, but I would argue that they still have their uses, their utilities, right? Like, for example, self compassion. Self compassion. You look at yourself and you say, you've made mistakes, but I forgive you. Basically you forgive yourself, and you know what I mean. You find the way to go on regardless of your mistakes. You know what I mean? That's self compassion. Self acceptance is the one where it's okay. Well, I accept myself the way I am, but I know that I can improve myself. Self esteem, obviously, like, you know what I mean. There's a lot of, I've been doing a lot of reading about self esteem, self confidence, and all of that. And even if they sound cool or whatever, they have their utility.
Check out Nathaniel Branden, Ayn Rand's friend, or Ayn Rand's friend.
Knowledge is knowledge, and brains is brains. Holy shit, that's
deep. That's some
no,
deep.
no. That's so fucking
Anyway, did you hear what I said? Check out Nathaniel Branden. He has some remarkable books on the psychology of love, the psychology of self-esteem. He's a very clear writer, wonderful person.
Can you write it on the site in the private chat?
How about in the public chat?
That works too. I got so many books to read about that because I've been trying to, deal with self-esteem issues.
But anyway, like being mad at yourself or not forgiving yourself is very much like a dog chasing its own tail, which is interesting in itself. Hang on a second.
Well, yeah, this is why you gotta forgive yourself. All right? Self-hatred. It doesn't get you anywhere, right? And it turns people off. You know what I mean? It makes people want to stop talking to you.
If you want to read some clear books on it, Nathaniel Branden has pretty clear books on it. So.
Nice.
Anyway, I will put a link to his Wikipedia page, which could be helpful. So, anyway, but all this gets pretty deep, and I would have to drag out my iPad if we went any further to yelling about the mind.
Actually, I actually have one of his books, The 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. That's good, actually.
Okay. Hey, he's a cool guy. He's the one that had the affair with Ayn Rand that.
Yeah, I never knew that.
She told her husband about, and it turned into quite a kerfuffle.
Scott, you know what, you do you, buddy. You're a beautiful human being. I love you.
Well, man, that sounds so great. You sound almost like a lounge singer or something. When you tell me that.
Okay, anybody know about Resident Alien on Sci-Fi, the new series, Resident Alien?
Resident Alien?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it's this alien who everybody that looks at him thinks he's a human being, except for this one little boy in town who can actually see him for what he is. But he somehow gets roped into being the town doctor. And he goes to do this autopsy, and he finally gets alone with the body, and he grabs
Is it the alien? Is it the alienator or something? I think I know the one you're talking about because one of them.
No, it is literally called the Resident Alien. So anyway, he picks the brain up and starts squishing it and saying, he's just excited about squishing this brain. And my son saw that, and he said he thought of me immediately, and he knew I would appreciate that.
I mean, does the first episode involve transvestite hookers at all?
I don't think that's covered.
No, then I'm probably thinking of another series that's kind of like that.
No, it's called The Resident Alien. It's brand new. I believe the whole season is dropped. It's on Sci-Fi, but anyway, pretty cool. So let me share a screen. I'll show you my problem. We're leaving the topic of brains for now. I think I managed to get Danny heated up enough for the day. That's all I really wanted to do.
Wow, you're a troll.
Fucking right. And I'm biased too. Remember?
I mean, everybody's biased. I'm biased towards you. You're biased towards me. Danny's biased against me.
Here's my problem, Andrew.
Like Jesus fucking Christ! So how much is it divided?
I don't know.
Like what are we looking at?
We're looking at
The
I'll show you.
geologic time scale.
See if
Wow.
I can- I want that for my
Humans
wall.
like to organize things.
I've been trying to find this poster for my wall, but I mean, so you want to talk about that? Geologic timescales, which would be switching drastically off from brains. If you need something to talk about, praise and the gang. We're discussing the age of consent. Oh my God, are you?
What the fuck?
I got
Such a-
14 to 15. Well, yeah, well, that's when those girls can start producing little Catholic or little Christian babies, little creationists. I don't know. Let me see if I can expand this. Where are we at? Okay, so we got. You want to talk about this, Andrew?
I mean,
Up to you.
Yeah. That's cool. We can talk about geologic time. Erica, I have to look at that stream before I can comment on it and get some timestamps. So yeah, but thanks for the tip. We will look at it. They are a little warped. A couple of days ago, they were talking about women and why women can't teach men or preach to men in the church, and that was even more interesting. Yeah, it was very
oh my
interesting.
God, they're like so misogynistic.
If you don't have a penis, you cannot utter the God words in the church properly without a penis.
That's messed up.
I don't. Maybe because you need to use the penis as a pointer. I don't understand why do you need a penis to talk about God in the church? I don't get it.
Because because going back to the story of Genesis, right? God made women subservient to man after it was found out that it was the women's fault that they fell. So God is like, you should be subservient to your man, and you shall have pain in childbirth.
So we have the woman wanting the apple and going out and picking the apple. And then flash forward 2,000 years, and we have the woman going shopping and wanting to spend money, right? And the man stopping her, Lucy and Ricky Ricardo and all that shit. Right? So how far have we progressed in 2,000 years? And I wonder if it's something about Christianity that keeps man from progressing. I don't know.
I mean, one can argue that it's religion itself, but there are some religions who just help people while others hinder them.
Yep.
That's a whole fucking discussion.
So
I use humanity to destroy humanity.
Yeah. The interesting stuff is here.
I want to save humanity from themselves, but I have no power. I'm not God.
You know what I just did?
What?
I was trying to make my screen bigger, and I was actually making my StreamYard bigger. Not what I intended to do.
Nope.
So, anyway, you want to talk about time, Andrew?
Okay. Let's see. Someone give me a random geologic period.
Jurassic. I don't know.
Cambrian.
Jurassic.
Oh, don't be boring with dinosaurs.
Fine.
The fun shit happened in a Cambrian.
Fair enough. Yeah, the
Ediacaran.
Cambrian explosion.
How about the Ediacaran?
The Ediacaran? Oh, that's a good one.
Good fossils of the first multi-celled animals. Aha, that's what we want.
Well, good if you define good as in we have no idea what they are. Well, we don't have as much idea what they are about as like dinosaurs, for instance. Like you can look at the bones of dinosaurs. You know it's a dinosaur. You look at the imprints of Ediacaran biota, and like we think they're animals. I think some have actually found molecules that are only found in animals. So we know at least some of them were animals, but we don't know if all of them are animals.
Yeah, soft-jellied creatures shaped like bags, discs, or quilts, which would be pretty primitive. But I think that's interesting. I don't know. See, I don't know anything about this stuff, unfortunately. And every time I try to learn about it, I look at all these periods, and it's like that's a lot of memorizing. So how would you proceed in learning? I guess just the Ediacaran and the Cambrian and the Ordovician, learning to that level would probably be sufficient. So
Well,
I'm trying to figure out.
what do you expect? Life is complex. You take that one factor, and the Earth is really, really old. You take that factor, you smack them together, and you get basically this whole mess that we call geologic history.
Okay. So you're saying it's going to be hard no matter how I do it, no matter what. There's no easy way to do this.
Yeah, the only way you can cover it is generalizations.
Well, I don't know. I tend to want to go back here to the Calimian. That's what Proterozoic, because it doesn't say anything about life at all. So okay, so the Extasian right here. I got to make this bigger, right?
Oh, I'm clueless on the epochs I deal with, the geologic periods.
Which are those?
Let's see.
On the left. So
let's see. All right, so we have Proterozoic, so it's going to be the third column, I think.
Okay,
yeah.
So period. So Quaternary, Neogene, Cretaceous. Okay, yeah. Okay. So that's what you should focus on: Silurian, Ordovician, Cambrian. Okay, but then these, like the Extasian, actually is a geologic period, but a very small one. But all we know is something about green algae for that one. Okay, green algae colonies. And then the Stenian, narrow, highly metamorphic belts. Nothing about animals there. Tonian, Rodinia supercontinent, trace fossils of simple multi-celled eukaryotes. Right. So where the hell is that?
No,
a billion years ago.
No animals yet. Just microbes that are colonial in that sense.
Yeah. And that's the interesting part, because is right around that, the colonial animals, when they started to stick together, the reason they stuck together is because of exuding these extracellular matrices, that basically these sticky substances. And then we got the possibility somewhere in there of cells communicating with other cells within that multicellular colony, right?
Right.
So that, like, the cells on the outside could detect something, and because of their juxtaposition to the cells on the inside, they could pass signals down. And then we had the possibility of something cool happening.
Yeah, well, like creationists always bring up, okay, how do you get bacteria to people, for instance? Well, first you have to get bacteria, or not bacteria, just some microbial form, to a multicellular form, like, because of course you're not going to get bacteria and turn it into a human. You need to have multiple cells to do that.
Right.
It's simple. You fold the cells with you fold the organism within itself, and you can exchange energy more efficiently because of surface area and all that.
Yeah, and you have to, first of all, so to get to from what is it, goo to Gish Gallop,
right? Or it's goo to you via the zoo, or something like that.
I like goo to Gish Gallop. So to get from goo to standing for truth.
Okay.
First of all, you have to have mats and clusters of cells that stick together, and then of course you have to somewhere in here, probably about, let's see, between the Cryogenian and the Snowball Earth, you would have cells that actually started to differentiate in those colonies as to what their function is.
Yeah.
Which would be, now I How the hell does that happen? That would be interesting to look at.
Yeah, I mean, like that gets into the problem of how the developmental genes come into place in the first place, basically.
Yeah.
Which I think is still an open question, but yeah.
Yeah, but there's some really interesting mathematics there where you have a colony of cells, and on the outside of the cells you have things that can actually have access to sunlight and nutrients, right? And on the inside of the cluster, you have things that are dependent on the outside of the cluster. And then the inside of the cluster does what exactly? Well, it could create energy or it could create something or another. But then at some point, when they start to differentiate, they differentiate as the cluster forms. Different signals would be given from the inside cells to the outside cells. So you have a gradient, right?
Right.
So then you have the possibility of the very first kind of embryogenesis, where something is just now starting to learn how to differentiate the cell mass. So the cells on the outside are different than the cells on the inside.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to look at how basically simple and differentiated these animals are, if you want to open a new tab and look up the organism Charnia.
Charnia?
Yeah, Charnia with a C. Charnia.
Is there an H in there? Is it?
Yeah, CH.
Charnia. Oh, that guy. I saw those in a. We have a little fossil store in town, and they had some of those. And I said, "Oh, cool plants," and he said, "Not plants."
Yeah.
Right. Which
yeah,
is interesting.
I think so.
Let me see here. I sure wish StreamYard was sexier and better, because then I wouldn't have to go through all this shit, right? Okay, so there we have Charnia.
There we go.
Yeah,
Charnia.
They look like ferns.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have the same morphology.
Yeah, it kind of gets into the problem of what happens when you go back millions, hundreds of millions of years, and the farther back in time you go, the weirder life becomes, because we have this set stage of biodiversity today. And when you go back to the Ediacaran, for instance, you have completely different forms of biodiversity, and it looks nothing like today, which we expect from evolution, but it kind of makes it hard to figure out exactly what the heck they are.
Right. So we must have a lot of those, because I went into this store and this guy had about a 3-foot one sitting by the counter, which was not for sale, but it was one of these.
They can get pretty long.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay. So that's in the Ediacaran. So that's right before the Cambrian.
Yeah.
The Cambrian diversification. We don't explosion. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
We got what, 50 million years for the Cambrian? Hardly an explosion.
Yeah, it's more it's more just a rapid biodiversification event.
Several Carnia species were described, but only the type species C. Messoni is considered valid. Some specimens of C. messoni were described as members of the genus Rangia or separate genus Glais. I can never pronounce.
Glacinerina. I would pronounce that. I don't know.
Okay. If you want to look up another one, look up Dickinsonia.
Oh yes.
You probably know that one.
By the way, I came across an interesting article from Live Science. Billions of lightning bolts may have jump-started life on Earth.
Wait, say that again?
Hold on, I'm gonna open it and read the whole thing. Billions of lightning bolts may have jump-started life on Earth, study suggests. Should I link it?
Sure.
You're gonna have to turn off your ad block if you have one, because yeah, there we go.
Turn off my what?
Turn off that pesky ad block. And for some reason, there we go. It took forever to post. Also, apparently, quantum mechanics and general relativity come together. A team led by student probes the mass radius relation of white dwarf stars, observing. There's a lot of interesting articles I've come across that I needed to read, and I've been sending him all to Immutable because he's my he's I don't know. I just been sending it to him because there's a lot of interesting ones. Astrophysicists discover unfathomably large intergalactic gas filament. Review the fierce scientific rivalry over fragments of energy, not waves of particles, may be the foundation to fundamental field theory. Okay, that's something interesting. Scientists discover 4 new particles. That's something I need to read also.
So this thing here is a really good example of basically what is it called? Lateral segmentation, basically lateral inhibition, where like the ridges grow, and then because the ridges grow, they shut off the cells around them that grow ridges, and then the cells around them don't have ridges, and they turn on the cells around them that grow ridges. So you keep with this, this lateral plan, right? And this seems to be coming out from a stem. Is that a stem in the middle, or is that an artifact of?
I don't think it. Yeah, I'm not sure. So like
Yeah.
I just a quick note. I think I'm not entirely sure, but I think this guy specifically, this species Dickinsonia, was where they found the remnants of biomolecules that indicate that at least some ediacarans were animalian forms.
Okay. So they think they were eukaryotic?
Yeah, they had to be eukaryotic, but
Yeah.
we don't know for sure if all of them were animals or if some of them were plants or some other kingdom of life, perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to know anything about that little piece of rock there.
Yeah.
But they changed all. But the body plan is what I'm interested in. Yeah, they did. It does have a stem in the middle, so it kind of like developed from that stem. Somehow created this lateral pattern, this on-off pattern, which was pretty
Can you
early.
pull up that image? I'd like to see it better.
What's that? Oh, this image?
Yeah, that image. Oh, nice.
Yeah. So it had a head, for God's sake, of some sort. There was something different about the head. And you can see the beginning of a vertebrate here. if you got a SpongeBob imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why Standing for Truth thinks that's he uses that like it's a slam. Every time I watch SpongeBob, I think that's a lot of imagination. That's pretty good. I mean, it's like that's a good imagination. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about you, but so 5 millimeters. Oh my God, it's small. They're tiny.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they can be the size of a penny or something like that to like as big as like a doormat.
Yeah.
The biggest specimens.
Interesting.
Oh, Lori Hayes.
Oh, and here's the different finds that we've made. These are pretty good. Anyway.
Yeah, we have a bunch of fossils. We have Charnia, we have Dickinsonia, we have Sprigina, I can't remember that one's name specifically. Yeah, I don't know many ediacaran fossil names, to be honest, but they are pretty cool.
What the hell did I just do? Oh, I know what I did. I pulled up the wrong thing. Stop screen. Oh my goodness. When am I going to get OBS working? When? Geologic time schedule. I think this is it. I think this is where I was. Nope. Not where I was. Damn. Stop it.
Or I do like that image too because it shows like if it's a pie chart, you have all this time where basically only microbes and rocks and things like that and then just
Okay,
the last. Oh, go ahead.
I just want to say, is Lowry being serious now?
Oh yeah. No, he's not.
I don't know. Whatever. Go ahead.
That does look like a rock. Yeah. Yeah. Fossils are rocks. So we believe we came from rocks because fossils are rocks, right? Makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that is at the top of this article, right? Way up here. That right there.
Yeah, you can see like this tiny sliver of time is the Cenozoic, and then you have the Mesozoic and Paleozoic, and just that's the eon we live in right now.
Yeah, this little sliver up here at the top.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
have the Phanerozoic eon, that's the free eras right there. And then you have the free other eons before it. And so Earth is really old. If you're gonna take anything away from this stream, Earth is really old and life has changed a lot.
Yeah, and everything that we want to talk about, animals and humans, is what the Brain Trust wants to talk about only, occupy a very, very little tiny sliver of the whole story. So
right, like the modern biota basically is like the last inch of that graph, if we want to think of it as like a foot or something.
Yeah. Yep.
Uh-oh. Otangelo's in the live chat.
Oh no, we conjured Otangelo.
Oh, that's another good graph. That one right there.
This one. You
Yeah,
like that one?
Yeah, it's pretty good. Or the one below it, or okay, show the one below it actually. Yeah, some of these images are really very well done.
Yeah, this is what it goes all the way back to 4.5 billion years.
Oh yeah.
That's pretty cool. The period that we care about. Who's typing?
No, Angelo. If evolutionary timeline were true, we would not necessarily expect a gradual increase over time because we know that stasis and equilibrium is a thing. Like we know life doesn't increasingly change all the time.
Who conjured him? He sent out an email this morning. He sent out an email this morning too. So
I basically said to myself, how can this day get any worse? And boom. So
and that's what came up. Otangelo. Oh, what is
let's see.
Scott, I have an unrelated question. What is a cabaret? I'm too
cabaret.
young.
Cabaret. That's kind of dance style.
Huh.
There's a song. Never mind. You're too young. You're uncultured. You Americans today, you're uncultured.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not to make it a youth thing. There's a song. It's a classic. Life is but a cabaret.
Are we going this way?
I guess so.
Yep.
Is it time?
I think so.
Yeah.
Hey, Speed, should we let Brainbug in maybe, and he can help us with this paleontology stuff because he seems to be interested in it.
I think that anything happening over a period of 10 to 20 million years is gradual. If evolution is supposed to do what it does, we learn what it does.
Oh, so
preconceived notions about what's supposed to be gradual or whatever just means you're behind on your science, Otangelo. Surprise, surprise.
So how do you say this? Repressian. Why Pressian? Prescian? The Y Presian?
Like I said, I know the big chunks of time, not the epochs specifically.
That makes me feel better, okay? I thought you guys knew all these little guys here, you know? It's like, you know.
Well, I'm hoping that Gutsick Gibbon will write us a song about each of these ages to help us remember it as kind of a learning device.
Yes, there you go. Yep.
So get on that, Gutsick Gibbon, please.
Brainbug, you were at work during the pandemic?
Oh, well.
Nobody's working during the pandemic. What is wrong with you? I assume everybody stopped working, didn't they? I don't know. I think Best Buy put out an announcement today. They have this big festival here, Best Buy headquarters, about 20 blocks from me down the street. And they have this big festival where thousands of people get together and mill around the Best Buy campus. And they just announced, I think, the end of remote working or something. I think they're premature on that. I don't know. But anyway, I've looked at contracts for them over the years. I've been trying to get in there for years just for the status of it. But they keep rejecting me for various reasons. I think one guy even told me that he got along with me too well to hire me or something. I don't know.
Means he would want to be as disruptive as you are. So
yeah,
that's probably what it was.
Yeah.
We have Demeter in the live chat. Hey, Demeter.
Hey, Demeter. Demeter, give us a link as usual. So we'll take a look at that link. Anyway, so here we are at the Cretaceous. Screw that. We're way too far. Carboniferous. Yeah, we just jumped ahead. We get way ahead of the game. Okay.
If you want to go to list. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to read major diversification of life in the Cambrian. I don't want to call it an explosion anymore because, like, one time on 4th of July, I went out and I lit this firecracker and we all ran away and we ran up to the house. We were going to watch this amazing firecracker and it went, and it was like making this sizzling noise. And we all sat there and about, 15 minutes passed, 20 minutes passed, 30 minutes. Everybody was afraid to go up to the firecracker because it was so fucking big. It would have killed you if it went off, right? So like days passed, nothing happened. That's kind of what the Cambrian was. Like 50 million years of waiting for the firecracker, right? So Why are we calling it an explosion? God damn it. I think it misleads creationists.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll call it a diversification. Numerous fossils. Most
No, I
modern.
don't think it. I'm sorry. I just have to thrust my opinion out here. I don't think it confuses creationists. Maybe it does some, but I think it's motivated reasoning that is behind all this. People gave up long ago the idea that evolution has to necessarily go at the same rate, and that's just science now, and it's not accepted by the creationists because it doesn't fit their tendentious tendencies.
Yep.
Yeah. Tendentious. Okay. So everything got interesting in the Cambrian. And how many fossils do we have?
A bunch.
Like millions, right? From
that wouldn't surprise me.
Is that where the what the hell, the shale in Canada, what is it called?
Yes, the Burgess Shale.
Burgess Shale, yeah. Okay, so we have all of those. So there's millions out there. And if you dig around in that, so you can imagine if you were to take the whole mountain apart, how many fossils are buried in there. So what's his name? Nick Zentner. The other day he did one of his road trips and he walked up to this hillside and he reaches down and he says, "Here's a rock." And he picks it up. And he said that's the first time that the rocks underneath it saw light for 1 billion years. And he gets this big smile on his face like that's cool. I mean, that's a lot of power, right? And
that is cool.
Yeah, that rock had been laying on this other rock for 1 billion years, and he moved it. And he thought,
I would really wish they would find a way to dig through that 3-mile layer of basalt down to whatever actual what do they call it, the bedrock or whatever of the continent, because basically you had all the activities going on and dinosaurs dying and everything, and then a couple million years ago Washington decided to burp up a lot of lava, and so they had like 3 miles of hardened lava on top of what was down below it.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of cool things down there that we can't get to.
Yep. Yeah. What is that called right under the continental crust?
Yeah.
You should know. You listen to enough Zentner. He talks about it all the time, but I can't remember either. And I've listened to a lot of Zentner. So,
Like the Kraton is that what you guys
yes,
are
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
no,
Dave Zentner, for
it's not
anybody
that
who wants to bone up on Northwest Pacific geology, go to the Nick Zentner YouTube channel, and you have hours and hours and hours of just impressive research-backed kind of work and presentations. Plus, the guy's kind of funny.
Yeah, he is funny, and he's he doesn't censor himself a lot for being a college class, which is kind of cool. So
Yeah, it's kind of refreshing. He's like adult. He's been doing that for 30 years, and he doesn't give a damn anymore. So
yeah.
he's the top dog in that geology department, even though he's not a PhD.
Yeah, but I was pretty amazed at how Washington and Oregon and everything came together, and basically they weren't there.
Yeah, they weren't there. America had to do a little DIY add-on.
Accretion.
Yeah, so that's the official word.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there were these big lava blocks that rose up in the out in the ocean, and the continent collided into them and accreted them, and they piled up, and it's really kind of cool to listen to them and see how that happened. And then imagining a continent accreting a 20-mile, I think it was like 20 kilometers high or something, the block that accreted onto the continent. And I was thinking 20 kilometers, that's a lot. What the hell?
Well, it's about 15 miles, isn't it?
Yeah, it must have went way down because it didn't even stick up out of the ocean. So it came out of the craton basically, and it was like this massive amount of lava that boiled up out of the ocean. I think it came from the Yellowstone hotspot, and then the continent moved over the Yellowstone hotspot is currently where it is today. But it was like one of the things that created a lot of this stuff. At least that's what I got out of it. And I keep turning it on, and then I turn over and take a nap. So I get about half of his lecture, and then half of it becomes really weird. And there's there are hookers in it, and when I start to fall asleep, the hookers in clown suits come out when I drift off to sleep. I don't know why, but so it's all intermixed with the geology. So I'm probably not. Yeah,
we're going to pick up a collection so you can find a therapist. And,
okay. Hookers in clown suits. So do you think that's is that problematic?
It might be. It might be. There might be something you need to deal with.
Well, just wait until you're as old as I am, and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Okay.
Oh, the day I start dreaming about hookers and clowns.
Yep. You get them mixed up after a while. Anyway, Andrew, where we at?
Let's see. I guess one more picture I want to show it would be those giant sea scorpions are called colloquially, like the ones as big as crocodiles.
No, I don't.
Okay, you want to look it up and show it to our audience?
Eurypterid?
Yes, Eurypterid, giant Eurypterids.
God damn! Do we want to show them to the audience? We're gonna look.
Yes.
People are gonna run away.
That's right. This channel is not for kids. If you're under the age of 17, we need you to walk away so that we can show the Eurypterids or whatever.
Yeah,
don't show us here in a moment.
Don't show this to your kids before you put them to bed. You can show it to them early in the morning because they don't really give a shit what they think about at school. But definitely don't show it to them.
Okay. Oh, come on, Speed. You can find a better artistic drawing than that.
Really?
Was that a catfish with a stinger?
What is that? That's actually from the wiki. I'm sorry. That's a Eurypterid. So are there better ones?
Yeah, or like there are some artist impressions of it.
Oh,
I think are really cool looking.
Well, let's see what we can do here.
See, we showed the fossil. Now let's show how we think it looked, basically.
I want to go to Eurypterid. In a second here. think I got that right. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it wrong. Sorry. Fuck you, Google. Give me a break. Okay. Now, here's the fun part. You hit images. Well, what do we think it looked like? You find one you like there? None of those look too scary. How giant are they?
Well, there's an image right down there. The one with all the colors.
Am I in the right spot?
Up a little bit.
That
All right,
one?
up.
Up. Ooh.
All right, next row.
Next row.
All right,
Oh,
and
what?
then to the left. That
Oh,
that
shit.
one.
Oh, shit.
Prepare yourself.
No. Oh, my God. They could eat me.
Oh, they probably could.
But on the other hand, if I were to get them in a net and put their tails in butter, ooh, I'm liking
dear.
it.
This channel does not condone taking prehistoric animals and eating them.
This looks like a lobster festival like I've never even imagined before.
That's a giant lobster.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, well, it's fair because he could eat me too, right? So it'd be a fair game as to who eats who.
Yeah.
I'd be chasing it around with a pot and some butter sticks, and he'd be, coming back trying to bite me. Pretty cool.
Yeah, these are the biggest arthropods that have ever existed.
And those were during the Ordovician or the Cambrian?
Yeah, from let's see, or the biggest one in there is from the Silurian, I think. Or Silurian, early Devonian.
Okay.
And then they all went extinct at the end of the Permian with the Great Dying.
Those are wonderful. I like them.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Sorry, everyone.
Lobsters should have half a chance when we're hunting them. They should have half a chance of hunting us, I think.
So
Yeah.
tonight you're going to dream about a lobster in a clown suit?
Probably, yeah. Oh, I'm going to dream about eating a lobster. Seafood and all that shit has, like beef and seafood, have astronomically gone up in price to the point where fairly wealthy people have to really think hard before they buy that shit now. It's gotten ridiculous. The price of things out there.
Do you want to keep going, Speed? I don't want to bore our audience. How do you think we're doing?
No, I'm not sure. Don't know what else we got to go over today. So
Yeah, maybe we should take a poll from the side chat.
yeah, pull from side chat. Are you guys bored? You want to hear us rip on Danny or Tangelo, or do you want to hear us talk about life and time? Oh, they're not crustaceans. A brain bug. He's just you should come in here, brain bug, but you're off working during the pandemic.
Do not outrage brain bug. He's got bugs. He can insects that'd kill you.
How do you pronounce that, brain bug? Chelicerae. Oh, there you go.
Until this moment, I didn't know there was such a thing as a chelicerae.
Yeah, they include let's see, arachnids, so spiders and scorpions, and horseshoe crabs, or at least the general phylogenetic tree is that.
Yeah, let's go look at that.
Yeah.
So I guess you learn about these things by going over it and over it and over it.
Oh yeah. It's a lot to go over.
Well, a jumping spider is a chelicerae. My God!
Jumping spiders are adorable.
So what Brainbug is telling us is that there were 8-foot tall spiders, basically, in the ocean swimming around.
That was their length, not their height.
Yeah, length. They were probably only about 2 feet high.
Yeah.
But they were laying down.
Oh yeah. Think of a crocodile, but it's a scorpion.
Yeah, you never want to make that mistake if you go into a bar and you see a 6'4" guy, 240 pounds, pure muscle, and he's laying down. You think, oh, he's only a foot tall. So you go kick him.
Yeah, that's right. A good point.
Yeah, good point. You don't want to make that mistake. Let's see. I'm looking at chelicerae. And I don't see a good phylogenetic tree for the goddamn things.
Oh yeah, it's kind of it's debatable at this point. We're still trying to figure it out.
Okay, that would be a problem. Okay. Anyway, Ordovician.
Let's see, or Ordovician, Silurian. Let's see. Let's jump ahead to the Devonian with all the placoderms.
Ooh, but club mosses and horsetails and ferns. Oh my.
Oh yeah, those are cool too.
Those are cool. First seed-bearing plants.
Oh yeah, yeah.
First trees.
First trees.
Archaeopteryx? Sounds like an animal.
Yeah. That's a thing to remember. It's Archaeopteryx. That's the tree fern, and then you have Archaeopteryx, which is the bird dinosaur transition, whatever we want to call it.
And you're saying they're not related at all. Like God didn't use the same plan on those.
Nope.
Two
Clearly, the bird/dinosaur people were not talking to the plant fossil people, or they would have been.
Yeah. I think they have the same root, right? Like fed or something, or that's what archaeus means. I think
Archaeopteryx. Oh, I wonder if I can. Yep, ferns. Yep, they got feathers. They look feathery, so that's why.
Yeah, feathery ferns.
Extinct genus of tree-like plant with fern-like leaves. So, how big were those suckers? They tell you.
They could get quite big. Like let's see. I would suspect at least 30 feet.
80 feet in height. 80 feet.
Yeah. They could get that. Yeah, they got pretty tall.
Well, they're kind of awesome looking.
Oh wow, that's a good drawing.
Yeah, it look like pine trees. But look at the trunk. Very different than tree rings. At least it seems different. I don't see tree rings in there.
Yeah,
that's
or just for anyone in the audience, think of it this way. Okay, take a little fern and make it the size of a redwood. Okay.
Yeah. There you go. Going back. So, and the first wingless insects.
Oh yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yes, they're wingless insects.
Winged insects first? Were they first, or I'm not buying that.
Okay, or the springtails, right? And darn, I can't remember the other one.
Springtails. Ooh, there's one. And oh, nice.
Silverfish. Thank you, Brainbug.
Silverfish. Damn, Brainbug knows his bugs.
Oh yeah.
Wow, is that where he got the name? Brainbug. I get it now. My mind went to another place when I first saw the name. Okay, but now I get it. I get it. This is pretty cool. Springtails are cool. Anyway,
they have their body, and they have this little springtail, and they flick it out under them, and it basically hurls them wherever they want to go.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, jumping bugs are pretty freaky. Jumping spiders are worse. Wood spiders.
Jumping spiders are adorable.
Jumping spiders?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Okay, well, we need to have a serious discussion on Speed.
I guess we do.
They can also get pretty smart for spiders.
Yeah. This wood spider, I came home from North Carolina after being gone for 3 months and wanted to lay on my couch, watch a little TV. About 2 a.m, pulled out my blanket, and this wood spider crawled out from underneath my blanket, and then he jumped like off the sofa onto the floor about 3 feet away, and I'm like, fuck this. So I spent the next 4 hours washing all my blankets everywhere in the house, and then I got out the yard guard, They say not to use that inside, but that's bullshit. It really works good inside. That was the end of that. And I have not seen a spider in my house since that day. And that was 10 years ago. So anyway. No, Edward, you're not blocked. What the hell? Why would Edward be blocked? Why would Edward be blocked?
Perhaps you mean he is a block. I don't know.
Oh, he is a block?
Or block, or I don't know. I can see his comments.
Oh, he feels squared. I see where he's going with that. Okay. Yeah, this is a philosophy channel. So anyway. Okay, so we're in the Devonian. Okay, so we have the first one was Strophomenid. Stropha. I can't even say that. Can you say that one? Strophomenid. A turpid, brachiopods, rugose, and tabulate corals. Crinoids are all abundant in the oceans. And then we have goniatite ammonids. Ammonoids are plentiful. I don't know what the hell those are either. So, but we could look. Well, squid-like, okay, this is pretty amazing. So the Cambrian apparently did a pretty good job of launching a whole lot of shit into these. We missed a few things, so there's all kinds of... Are we in the Silurian or the Devonian?
I'm not sure. We've kind of jumped around a bit.
We kind of jumped around. You wanted to jump ahead to the Devonian. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's true.
Are you biased?
Maybe.
Okay. Trilobites, armored agnaths decline, while jawed fishes, placoderms. Okay. Lobe-fin fishes. We are lobe-fin fishes ourselves.
Oh, boy.
It's hard to think of yourself as a lobe-fin fish, but I've gotten used to it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to think about.
Right.
Yeah, I don't feel very loby or finny.
So how do you say it? Coelacanth or coelacanth? How do you?
Coelacanth.
What is it?
Coelacanth.
Coelacanth. Okay. Yeah, I would prefer to have a coelacanth over for Thanksgiving dinner than some of my other relatives.
I think I could share a beer with a coelacanth. I really think he'd tell some good old, sea stories.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay. Imagine you're with some of your family members, okay, or you're with your parents, and you're like, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm gonna be seeing some of my relatives over for dinner tonight." And she goes over spying, and you see a fish, an insect, and oh boy.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know if that's gonna hurt our reputation, guys, because
I think that would cause them to want to teach creationism in school. I don't know, instead of
yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, it's like, son, that's not where we wanted you to go with this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm reading The Death of Expertise on Humans. Yeah, Erica, don't. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe we should commiserate together, because every time I deal with creationists, and some philosophers, my opinion of the human race becomes very dark. And it's like, and I start thinking, I just want off this fucking planet. I gotta leave.
So what does the death of expertise have to do with creationism?
I'm not sure. Oh.
Yeah, Speed, while you guys are discussing that, I'm going to go feed my dogs real quick, so be right back.
Okay. Getting more pessimistic because of how easily scared we are. Oh, that. What is the death of expertise? Do you know anything about it, Scott? Nope.
I just told you to hold on before I unmuted the button. But no, I don't know anything about it. The death of expertise. I don't know. I think maybe, how just generally as a culture, people don't seem to have a trust for educated people and experts.
Yeah.
They don't recognize people as experts. There are certain groups of people that think that just by reading and not having any actual experience, you can become just as competent and well informed as a like a PhD who's working in the field, making contributions to the field, doing lab work and that kind of thing. So I do see that as an issue. So I don't know if that's at all is what the book is about, though. Okay, wait a minute. Why do I'm pulling a boomer and not looking it up? So let me go to Amazon real quick and be on the lookout for any comments from Erica since she mentioned the book. Okay. Yeah. That is, it's on audio, but I don't know if it would keep me engaged. But let's take a look. In fact, it's only on, let me get back to.
Only on audio?
People are now exposed to more, no, there's a Kindle version. People are now exposed to more, okay, let me go back. Information than ever before, provided both by technology and by increasing access to every level of education. These social gains, however, have also helped fuel a surge in narcissistic and misguided intellectual egalitarianism that has crippled informed debates on any number of issues. Well, that says a lot. Today, everyone knows everything, and all voices demand to be taken with equal seriousness, and any claim to the contrary is dismissed as undemocratic elitism. Tom Nichols shows this rejection of experts has occurred for many reasons. Let me know when you're done with, want me to stop reading, including the openness of the internet, the emergence of a customer satisfaction model in higher education, and the transformation of the news industry into a 24-hour entertainment machine.
Yeah, where everybody can be a newsman or a journalist.
Now, who is Tom Nichols? I don't know the name.
Why do I know that name? I know that name.
How do you psychology it out without smart and, well, that's not it. Renaissance Art, Belinda Beginner Guides. That could be another Tom Nichols, though. Okay, so this doesn't really say anything about him.
Sounds like right-wing propaganda.
Well, they're I think right-wingers would hail the rejection of experts.
Yeah, don't listen to the experts because they're all in a conspiracy against you. Like they did a poll, and 30% of Americans don't want to get vaccinated. It's like, damn it, we need to get rid of this thing.
Well, you know, the only thing that really pushed me over the edge about vaccination was the fact that I have a grandson expected in the summer, and I just want to be in the hospital for his birth, and I'm hoping that by having the vaccine, that would allow me to be present.
Yep. Yeah, get her world.
Maybe people just worry too much, but see, now they don't have to. I had the both vaccines, and you know, now I have superpowers to open up garage doors for my neighbors just by thinking about it. And some of the things I can do, I better be quiet about.
Well, you've been controlling the content of this channel ever since you
That's right. That's right.
So any complaints, you know where to send them.
Yeah. Well, I don't see any. Just complain about me and say, well, speed is awesome, but that damn Scott Duke guy.
Yeah.
He needs to go.
He's running the show.
I don't see any responses by Gutsick Gibbon over this book that we read about, but that's an interesting thesis. I think there's a lot of journalists and political observers who are saying the same thing.
Well, I think the early phases of that were wiki warriors, where you go to the wiki and read a few things, and then you're an expert. And then you go to the wiki page the next day, and they change the information. So now, now you're not. Basically, but learning things well, and learning things like a specialized field. I mean, you could study one particular structure in the cell for all of your life and occupy your entire life, 100% of your time. and then you're going to be an expert in that field. And if you do that, you should be listened to. You know, your opinion matters if you specialize like that. And then our generalists like me trying to run around like chicken with my head cut off, learn everything at once. But the two things actually are actually good because we need science overviewers too. You know, people that get broad education so that they can kind of comment on the overall, happenings or whatever. So,
well, there's also the clickbaity aspect to our culture. So, yeah, people need who aren't quote unquote experts need to read critically and even could be critical of themselves and make sure they're not reading into what they're looking at any of their own prejudices and desired outcomes.
Yeah.
Hey, Speed, when were you gonna end the stream by any chance, if I may ask?
In about 45 minutes at the latest. Otherwise, earlier. Why?
Oh, I was just gonna say I gotta head out now, but maybe we can continue this trip through geologic time stuff. Like,
now, wouldn't it be cool if we had a PowerPoint and we put all those pictures that we wanted to show in the PowerPoint, and we got to, gather a lot of pictures of those little animals and went through the time zones again, starting with the Ediacaran or even before, and did a little presentation on it. I think that would be because, you learn this stuff by going over and over and over. And I think that's what's lacking in my knowledge and the knowledge of a lot of people is we listen to Dapper Dino or Brainbug or you throw things around, and that is not our field of expertise. And we get sort of like, we get lost in the mud, right? And this would allow us to look at life as transforming, and be able to see the evolution like we did a little bit of today. Like in that first diagram, and I already forgot what the hell it was. Not the Dickinsonia, but was it Dickinsonia or was it the one right before that? There was, there was a beginning of embryology there, and you could see it in how the thing laterally differentiated, that sort of thing, which is really important. And if you start looking at plants in the same way and animals in the same way, you can see the whole story. But anyway, so we should do a little.
Yeah, I'll prepare a PowerPoint as soon as I can. Whenever you want to do that.
Yeah, it'd be a good project for you. You could probably turn it in and get a mark in school for it.
PBS Eons did this, a brief history of geologic time.
Oh,
Don't play that. Don't play that. I'll get a strike.
Just saying that's what they did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna head out now. So thanks for letting me share my stuff and having me on, Speed. It's always a pleasure.
Okay.
All right. See you guys.
Yep.
See you.
See ya.
So Scott and Top Dog, it's your show. What do you want?
Oh, dang. I think we need Top Dog to recite Shakespearean sonnets.
Okay, no. No.
Well, see, that's why it's your show, man.
Yeah, okay.
You make all those big decisions.
Yeah. So yesterday, I thought it was remarkable to have Danny on and explain the pincer argument, and for me to be able to see this really odd thing about how differently we think, and he seems to be, and Danny, correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be really, really in bed with that analytic philosophy trend, with that turn of language, where you use logical forms and language to basically do philosophy, quote unquote, that sort of thing.
Are you speaking to Danny as if he's in the side chat, or are you speaking to Danny just out there on the internet eventually?
Out there in the world, Danny. Danny in the world, yeah.
I don't think he's in our side chat anymore.
Well, I'm speaking more of the metaphorical Danny.
The metaphysical Danny. Okay, yeah, the concept of Danny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Sorry,
the
didn't interrupt. Proceed.
maybe the metaphysical Danny, but anyway. So we have humans, and humans have. I don't know. Should I pull up my iPad or should we end the
Humans have
stream
some
early today?
shitty attitudes. I just want to tell you that.
Who?
Humans.
Oh, shitty attitudes?
Humans have shitty attitudes, yeah.
Yeah, you can't make that generalization. That's racist.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
For a
against
whole
humans.
species, you can't just say that they have some shitty attitudes
Nope.
for the species?
No, there's pretty happy ones out there. Somebody
Right.
yesterday, John Oliver did a thing on what the hell was it? People bothering people had just turned 100 years old. The news bothering them, basically asking them questions about being 100 and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was on
And-
one of his And Now This segments.
Yeah, that was a Know This thing. It was really great. And that last one, I saw an entire segment with her, the one that said, they asked her, she was 110 years old, just turned 110. She said, "Are you really excited about your birthday party?" And she says, "No, I'm not." It was just, and then she kept saying, "I want to take a nap. I want to take a nap.
I'm tired.
I'm
Yeah,
tired. I want to take a nap." And then the other one, they asked her, what do you want to do for the next century? And she said, "Breathe." What are you looking forward to for the next 100 years? And she said, "Breathing." That's pretty funny.
That's where it's at, breathing.
So Ed is
Don't
here.
ever take it for granted.
Hey Ed,
Hey, and how's it going?
rolling yourself a cigarette.
How you doing, guys?
So, were you blocked,
Yeah.
or you thought you were blocked, or were you making a metaphysical comment about being blocked?
Or was it a gastrointestinal comment?
Yeah. When you said
Gastrointestinal comment.
when you said you were blocked, we were wondering why you thought you were blocked. But anyway,
Oh no. What Angelo was talking about blocking people because was talking about against him and stuff like that.
Oh,
Was scaring people about blocking
I think.
because he had the range and stuff.
Oh, now you
That's
got
that's the middle-aged person's version of "you can't come to my birthday party."
well, you got a wrench
Maybe,
now,
yeah.
so he can't block you on this channel. So
Take that, Angelo.
yeah, take that out, Angelo, and we can take it. Well, Angelo's been pretty good since I given him a wrench. He has not posted cat's board once. He's only posted paper, so he's been pretty good.
Links to papers too.
This just proves that you can actually teach a creationist new tricks.
Ah,
It is possible. So I'm happy about that.
that's cool.
So anyway, I was talking about Danny and yesterday and how he came up this thing about you have a belief and somehow whether or not the belief is true and false was tangled up in his metaphysics about whether it's a true belief or a false belief, and that represented a very big division in how we think, from myself being a strict naturalist to how they think, because I would say it doesn't matter whether it's true or false. It has absolutely no connection to what your brain state is. I use that word. God, I hate brain state. What the condition of your mind is.
Isn't a belief a sum of your previous facts?
Yeah, it's like a complex disposition. Like you use the example of I believe it's raining outside. And I'm in a room with no windows and I can't hear outside and I believe it's raining outside. Well, to believe it's raining outside, number one, you have to know what the hell rain is. You have to know a lot about outside. You have to know about inside and outside. So these are things that you learn from the time, when you were 1 and 2 years old, you learn about putting your blocks inside of something or, whatever. So I mean, every belief is based in this huge network that becomes a dispositional state, so that if I believe it's raining outside and you ask me to go outside and get the mail, I will probably put on a waterproof coat because I believe that, right? So it's a disposition act.
How do you think irrational beliefs are emerging?
An irrational belief? Well, I think that's a no-brainer. I see what I did there. Basically, an irrational belief would be based on, for instance, the irrational belief that you shouldn't get a vaccine. Maybe that might be controversial, but anyway. So if you read a couple of news articles, and you're not currently thinking about those news articles, and you've heard a couple of opinions, like maybe somebody told you about somebody that got the vaccine and dropped dead 3 weeks ago, and you don't even know about that. You're not even thinking about it. But it is in that network that is going to support what you believe right now, about what you believe is right. And so then, and I've had these conversations with relatives recently, when I come along and ask them, got the vaccine yet? And they'd say, well, I don't know. I don't know. I've heard, and they can't remember exactly what they've heard, but they've seen enough little tidbits that it's gone into this dispositional network that causes you to believe. So an irrational belief would happen if you listen to, and I did this, Rush Limbaugh for about 5 years in a row. You start to get a lot of beliefs that may need further fact checking, is what I'm saying. So developing an irrational belief is a no-brainer. I mean, it's what you get input from. So if you don't get a wide variety of inputs and fact check every goddamn thing, like for instance, if I walk outside and a leaf or a branch drops behind me and I jump about a foot and my adrenaline raises, that's an irrational belief. A very, very simple, irrational belief. It was a branch. It wasn't a tiger, or it wasn't a mugger or, car hijacker or whatever. So, it scared me. So basically.
Yeah, but you arrived at that conclusion after the branch fell off.
Right. And very, very quickly, though. Very quickly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when something happens, like I always like to use the example is that I opened the door to my east yard and I saw this crow in a tree. And at that time, I was doing a lot of work with philosophy of the mind. So I was I would very quick, anytime I had an experience, I would sit down and try to remember what the experience consisted of, right? So I saw a crow in a tree, and then just a moment later, the crow started running around in circles going down the trunk of the tree. And I realized it was a black squirrel. So the time between thinking it was a crow, because I definitely thought crow, because that was in my trace of memory, right? Later on, 3 or 4 minutes later. So I thought crow, and then I saw it go spiraling around the tree, and I realized, no, crows don't do that. Squirrels do. And then I thought, oh, it's that damn black squirrel, which I had one of them in my yard. So there was this process, and that was a belief. I mean, a really rudimentary belief for just 200 milliseconds that I saw a crow. Enough to be
What do you
in
think? Sorry.
Go ahead.
What do you think it happens in the brains of the people who sees UFOs or something that they have never seen before?
Well, they're seeing something in the sky, and there's that. But then 5 minutes later, after it's gone, there's a whole lot of work being done as to figuring out what you saw. And when you start figuring out what you saw, you're recalling the memory very, like even with my black squirrel example and my crow example, that could possibly have never happened. I mean, I could have actually manufactured that entire memory a year ago, even though it seemed to have happened 5 years ago, right? So I mean, okay, so now you're modifying your belief a little bit, and the UFO may get a little clearer, and it may grow some light or whatever. But then on the other hand, if the UFO is like persistent, you see it going across the screen or across the sky, and you're seeing lights on it, and you're actually seeing those right now in real time. so that you've seen them, you remember that you saw them, and now you're still seeing them. So those kind of memories are, yeah, they saw something odd. You know, we can't deny they saw something odd. But how can you trust a person 2 years after the fact as to what they saw? You know, it's very difficult.
Well, what I see is the irrational to think that UFOs are alien or extraterrestrial because there's no evidence for it.
Yeah, that there is no evidence for.
It's in the name. It's the
Yeah. Unidentified.
Can't say it. Yeah. Yeah. Floating object.
Yep. And people that have had, you know, near-death experiences, and people that have seen Jesus in their bedroom, you know, pop up, all of those things, because that latter one actually happened to me. I actually had a memory, or I had an incident where I was waking up, and I was on this Christian forum. So they were, so I was basically pretending I was a Christian, so that I could get some information from these Christians who would not let atheists on the forum, right? So for 3 months, I pretended I was a Christian, and I had to think like a Christian and talk like a Christian. And then I was falling asleep one night, about maybe 1 a.m, and I had this like sudden jolt that there was something moving above my bed, right? And then later on, I immediately thought, Jesus Christ. and as I got out of bed, and now it's been about 5 years again with that memory, right? I had painted a picture of the same Jesus I saw in the Presbyterian Church as being above my bed, and I could actually believe, if I were so inclined, I could believe that really fucking happened. And I know it didn't, because at that time I was also keeping track of subjective experiences. So when I had those jolt awake things where you'd start to remember, you know, you had some experience or you heard a sound or something, I would always go out and start thinking about it and, you know, cogitating. And I know fucking well that there was nothing above my bed, and I was falling asleep when it happened. So I understand it. But I mean, I could have taken that memory and manufactured an entire religious conversion story, you know? It's like, oh yeah, I was an atheist, and then I saw Jesus right above my bed, and I said, Jesus Christ, what are you doing there? What the fuck?
I would have advised you to found a guruship or ashram or something. That's more fashionable.
Yeah, and I'd probably be richer than I am now. Yep. Anyway,
write a book or something.
Yeah. So I don't know.
I'm dreaming a lot of derailed trains lately.
Derailed trains?
Yeah. Does that mean something?
Yeah. I don't know what the hell that would be for. Maybe you saw one somewhere, or I have no idea. Meaning in dreams is pretty iffy, but you know, there definitely is something like oh, what the hell? I had some stunning examples. Like, it's amazing if something happens in my life, like at work, and I'm working on a programming problem, I'll go to sleep and wake up from a dream and realize I was dreaming about, like, in this shitty house out in the country, and there are all these drug dealers trying to make this, you know, this drug deal. And then I wake up and I realize that the structure of the rooms and the people involved had something to do with the database problem I was working on. And it's really bizarre how you tend to.
Do you think is the subconscious working?
I don't like the word subconscious. I don't believe in it, but no, it's basically your conscious conceptual mind working to frame things in terms of what you've seen before, right? Which is, you know, it's what we do. Like we draw our ideas of basically a relational database table as being a container. And we got that idea, like I said, from putting blocks in, you know, in containers when we were children, right? So we always we always abstract from some conception we have of time and space into, you know, our conceptual space. And so they're always going to be related. And dreams do that, because dreams are where you integrate your current memories, your currently what's happening, you integrate it into that whole, into that structure. And so your dreams are like, if you wake up and you happen to remember a dream, what you've done is you've caught your mind doing file cabinet work, you know, putting things in file cabinets, right?
That's true.
And then, but then as you wake up, the problem is that in that first 10 seconds that you're waking up, you are also putting together a story, a narrative. So you're doing some editing on your dream as you wake up and as you come to consciousness. And that's where I came up with this idea that it may be the case that we don't actually dream in narratives, that the narrative happens as we're waking up, as we're coming to consciousness. And we have no goddamn evidence one way or the other. So it's really hard to tell.
Well, we dream every 90 minutes or so, isn't it? So when we wake up, we remember the last thing we dreamed, not the whole dreams anyway.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna play Danny tonight, and I'm gonna ask you, when you are walking to the supermarket and you want to buy I don't know, apples, the act of walking, is it conscious or subconscious?
Conscious or subconscious? I would say it's conscious, but the thing is, everything is a part of your consciousness, but it's a part of your consciousness in such a very, very minuscule way that you would never name it. And there are a lot of things that we consciously feel that we cannot name. And if you can't name anything, you're not going to 2 minutes later be able to recall it and call it out, right? So consciousness to me is everything that the brain does and what the world is doing around you all at once, right? And that's what you're going through on a moment-to-moment basis. But once 200 milliseconds after a thing happens, you have no reason to remember it or no memory of it. So we have no idea what we were conscious of 200 milliseconds ago, unless we name it or call it out. Like I'm looking at Top Dog right now. And so I can call that out and say I'm looking at the dog, right? And but what I didn't notice is that I was also looking at the clouds 200 milliseconds ago, and I was perfectly conscious of those clouds, but I didn't think of calling it out until just now when I was talking to you. So
what about your heart? Are you consciously controlling your heart?
No, because you don't control your heart.
That's part of the subconscious comes in play.
Yeah, but your subconscious doesn't control your heart either. Your heart just beats. Okay.
What about your stomach and all the other intestinal?
Yeah, but do you see the mistake
immune system and all that?
Do you see the mistake there? You said, "Are you controlling your heart?" Right. So that means, am I
consciously?
Am I something? Am I something? An object, a noun, controlling something else? Right. You're not even doing that in the things you're thinking, in the things that you're deliberately thinking, the things that you're willing. You're not controlling that either. Okay. You are, because there is no you controlling anything. There is only the thing happening. So when your heart beats, your heart is beating. Nobody's controlling it. You know, if we look at it reductively and we want to figure out how a heart beats, we're going to see these nerves firing from some center, and whatever, and we can work out the physiology of it. And yeah, well, that's fine, but there was no actual agent controlling anything, because there are no agents.
Would you say that the heart beats because the blood flows, and in the same way thoughts appear because events appear?
Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing is happening, and nobody is making it happen. There is no I, and nobody is observing it happening. It's the happening and the observation is all one thing, one integrated thing. And it's very hard to get away from this idea of I am doing or I am thinking, or I am conscious. You most certainly are not. Consciousness is happening. So we're not going to deny consciousness. We're just not going to say that we are conscious of something. Like, who the hell is this I that's conscious of it? The homunculus? And that's what Dennett gets rid of very well with the consciousness explained was brilliant. I mean, absolutely brilliant. He could have gone further. He may have got a few things, half cocked, but for the most part, he had a lot of really good intuition pumps about how to get rid of the idea of this homunculus and this I. And one of the I could go on forever about this shit, but if I do, I want to have my drawing pad so I can draw pictures. But there's a lot more to it. But do you like Dennett? Are you a Dennett fan, Ed?
I haven't read it, but I am. Yeah, he's one of the four horsemen. So yeah,
pretty good. Yep. Anyway, I'm tired.
Yeah, you're tired.
You were gonna say.
No, I'm a fan of Sam Harris, and a lot of people are not.
Sam Harris?
Yeah.
Oh, me too. Yes.
Yeah. And Sam Harris doesn't always agree with Dan Dennett.
Yeah. Though I can't think of anything that they disagree on, particularly right now.
Exactly the things you said. I believe.
Yeah, I'd probably disagree with Sam on a few things, but for the most part, he is damn good. I mean, he's got a lot of really great stuff, great grasp of things. But,
I mean, he crushed Jordan Peterson like a bug anyway.
Yeah, that was cool. Jordan Peterson, man, that dude is interesting.
Again, yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. I think we should, get further and further into this brain stuff, and I should get my iPad out and we should draw some pictures at some point. But I'm tired. I can only do it for about 35, 40 minutes at a time, and then I run out of glucose. So your brain drinks pretty fast, especially when you're thinking about your brain. When your brain thinks about itself, it uses a lot of fucking sugar.
Yeah, the brain is the only thing in our body that thinks about itself. I mean, that names about. There's no spleen that's thinking about spleen.
Yeah. Or can
not
represent.
Not consciously.
Yeah, not consciously. Yeah. So I don't necessarily believe that there are dreams. I'm not convinced. I'm agnostic. I do not believe there's a subconscious. I think the word is bad. And
you don't believe there are dreams? What'd you say about dreams?
I don't necessarily believe that there are narrative dreams. Narrative dreams.
Oh yeah. There's no story in them. Yes.
I'm agnostic because there has been some research, like they can look at rats, like they'll walk them through a maze, and there's something called a hippocampus. Hang on a second, and basically they can scan the hippocampus, and they can actually see while they're dreaming. They can see that the same. There's a map of the maze inside of this brain tissue, right? And they can see the rat moving from one piece to another. It becomes more. It becomes lit up, right, as it's navigating the maze. And so the hippocampus is one of those architectonic maps. So the hippocampus, basically the actual layout of the neurons matches the layout of space and time. Okay. So that there's a one-to-one correspondence, so they can actually do a brain scan and they can see a pattern of the world inside of the hippocampus. So they've looked at mice navigating a maze, and they got some evidence that they're actually dreaming that they're walking through the maze, which would push against my idea that there are no dreams or narratives, right? But then I could come back with another thing, which I won't do right now. But, wow, that was cool. What did I just pop up? Each side of the brain. Oh, there we go. But the hippocampus, is right here.
Yeah.
So,
Would you
it's
do
a
you
jelly
think
roll.
that if humans would go extinct, rats would be the next species to get to our level?
Raccoons.
Of course.
They got fingers.
They got fingers, yeah.
Yeah. Raccoons would be next. I'm counting on. Why do you
But
think
rats
I'm
have
eating
fingers, isn't it?
Huh?
Rats doesn't have fingers?
They
have
do,
5
but
fingers.
they're getting, they can manipulate a little bit, but not like a raccoon. Raccoons are good. But that's why I feed raccoons every night, because I know that they're going to be taking over soon. And I don't want to piss them off, right? I want to be friends. They're going to come around and they're going to say, oh, we're going to get rid of all these other human beings except for that one guy down there on the cul-de-sac. He's a good man. He's a good one. We're going to keep him. So anyway.
Okay, but before we get too far off of it, I came in when I heard you talking about Dennett. And
Yes.
I haven't, I don't actually even know if it's a book or not. I've heard like 5 or 6 people talk about Consciousness Explained.
Away. Consciousness Explained Away.
Okay. Is he actually claiming to know what consciousness is, or is he just philosophizing about it?
He's basically, I don't know. I think he has a good intuitive grasp of what it is. So he might actually say, I know what it is, because I'll tell you that I know what it is. So I have a good intuitive grasp of what it is. So I would say, yeah. But whether or not he feels that he explained it totally in his book, how many years have it been since he wrote that? 12, 15, something like that.
Well, it's at least been 7.
Yeah, he could do he could do better. I think he could have done better, and I don't know. There were a few places. Let's see, where the hell is that book? There's one page 161, where he explains the orthogonal relationship between mind and time, and he draws this little diagram, which is like a bunch of lines zipping around in circles. And it's that is really important. And he did some really good work on it, but I don't know.
Did you just remember a page from Dan Dennett's book by number? And that's amazing.
I don't do that very often. I usually can't remember my own name. If you were to suddenly ask me what my name was, I'd have to think for a minute. So it's just that I think I don't know if that's the page. I might have made that up in my after memory.
Would you have to think, what state am I in, or what country am I in?
What's the state? You mean a brain?
Oh no.
No, I mean the State of the Union.
I have to think what county I'm in sometimes, because we get a lot of them here in Minnesota.
You have to be able to. You have to be clear what name you want to admit to at any given time.
No, it's shit. Like this morning I was reading through my cell biology book, and I read a whole chapter and highlighted it, and then I turned the page, and I saw this whole section on what the fuck was it on? I forget what cell extracellular matrices or filaments, basically in the cell, and I had highlighted the whole thing, and I started reading it, and I got really depressed, because it was like I was reading it for the first time. And so I think I'm at the limits of what I can stuff into my fucking brain. I don't know, it keeps falling out. Remembering actin and intermediate filament and microtubules are the 3 major filamentous types has been a challenge for me.
You need to read about it for a while and then talk about it on a live stream somewhere.
Well, the nice thing is that I did remember some of the things I was reading. So I got the overall concepts that were there. So the information is there. It's just that oftentimes you don't have access to the information. So if you're talking to somebody and they ask you a question, you'll draw a blank right away, because you don't have the route, to get at the information. So that happens to me so many fucking times talking about biology that it's depressing. I wish I had an eidetic memory, but I do not. Maybe I did before I did all that fucking LSD. Who knows?
You don't want an eidetic memory. That'd just be awful.
That would be cut off. Well, it'd be good while reading a book on cell biology. So
Well, yeah. It's just, but
Yeah.
people's like natural mechanism to forget the worst things is like really nice.
yeah. But you see this big pink thing here that looks like this actually looks like a jelly roll in the brain. It kind of like wraps around, and I don't know if you can see my cursor right there, the hippocampus. And that's
Yep.
where you keep a lot of temporary memories, and that's around your ear, right behind your ear. And the thing is, it's called allocortex. It's a very, very old cortex. It's in evolutionary terms, it's the first cortical structure that evolved. And
It's
oddly
part
enough,
number one at the factory.
I think one of the most significant advances in the evolution of that structure was with rodents storing their nuts. So basically, I think our whole idea of time and space grew out of a rodent's need to find out where their nuts were. So,
That didn't sound well.
That's
well,
amazing.
that's my theory. I'm sticking to it. I mean, if you wake up and you can find your nuts, you're okay.
So is that white thing in the middle, that white oval, is that like the chewy nougat inside our brain?
The thalamus.
Yeah.
That little walnut
It's
in the middle of
what's-
the thalamus. That's the switchyard for all your senses.
Oh,
Except for
okay.
your sense of smell. Yeah.
I just thought it was the chewy nougat center.
That's what's
Yep.
inside the Snickers.
Yep.
Would
So
you
it's,
would you agree that we trade off short-term memory for language?
Okay. That's a brand new concept for me. Oh, yes. You mean we use language as markers to basically mark it instead of we name it instead of
in our evolution we get rid of short-term memory and we acquire the language as vocalizing coherently. I mean.
Yeah, that sounds great. That is a good hypothesis, because there's this whole thing, and it relates to Buddhism, where basically we live in such a way that we name things rather than experience them. Okay, so we have markers, and Antonio Damasio would call us somatic markers, and it's like we mark things, and then we mistake the finger for the moon. The word points at the thing, right? Instead of experiencing the thing. But yeah, that is interesting. So I wonder if animals have far better short-term memories than us.
I mean, koi fish, I've heard they have 30 seconds memory.
Yeah.
and they don't speak much.
But it might be really good for 30 seconds, right? Really, really good for 30
Is it?
seconds. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with all that. Because, like, for example, when I think of the moon, of course I'm thinking of the word, but I'm also thinking of the moon.
Yeah, but you're thinking of like structures and circles and all the things you remembered. But are you bothering to look at the moon? I mean,
looking at the moon isn't remembering the moon.
Yeah,
it's not just seeing the moon. Is when you look at the moon, you say to yourself, "I see the moon," and you make those inflections in your brain, isn't it? I as a subject and
yeah, because you're creating a narrative you're creating a logical narrative out of what's happening.
Yeah.
We merge the two things together, but the Buddhists will tell you. They will rap you on the head. He'll say grasshopper and hit you on the head with his cane and saying, stop fucking naming it. Stop thinking about it. Look at it, because you're not fully looking at it if you're thinking about it at the same time. And I know we blend the two, right?
But can you really, can you look at the thing without thinking at anything, without making a semantic connection into your brain? Can you?
Yeah, that's what you did for the first month. That's what you did for the first month of your life. And that's what you do. Okay, that's also what you do if you take Kafai's heroic dose of mushrooms.
Okay.
So basically, that's one of the things that psychedelics does to you, is that it eliminates a lot of that thinky stuff and gives you a whole overdose of the feely stuff. So yeah, but it's interesting. But Buddhists, when you meditate, the idea of meditation is to not sit there and think, to shut off the thinky part of your brain. Now, the thinky part of your brain is interesting because it is correlated with your premotor cortex. So like right before your premotor cortex, it's almost like it was copied, or your motor cortex was exapted to think thoughts in sequences, right? Because you can plan movements. Well, then after a while, humans or primates started planning much deeper things, like plots against, humanity.
I know. It always seems like Buddhists, like the real hardcore Buddhists, are just seeking death. That's what it
Yeah,
is.
exactly. That is nirvana. That's a perfect state.
Yeah, they can go do that.
Just stop thinking.
Well, I thought with Buddhism, nirvana was reaching a state of no desires, no attachments. I thought with Hindu, it's an after body, it's a after your death kind of thing where you achieve nirvana. I could be wrong because I don't know the details.
Attachments would require some kind of cognition, right? Like if you're like if you're in there's this 12-step program, and they have something called the promises, and they tell you that you will lose your fear of financial insecurity, and then somebody will come along and say, you know what, I'm still jobless, I'm poor, and they'll say, we didn't say you're going to lose your financial insecurity, you're just going to lose your fear of it. We didn't say you were going to get rich. We said you were going to be okay with being where the fuck you are. So basically, losing attachment. To be attached to something, you have to think about it in the future. But anyway,
I don't know. I think I would just tell any hardcore Buddhist, if I ever actually met one, that I have plenty of time to die.
Yeah, well,
they can waste their life that they could do other things with if they want.
And then what if he hits you on the head with a cane?
Then I put him in a triangle.
Okay, that's fair. Yep. Yeah. Did anybody ever haul off and hit one of those gurus in the nose after they hit him with the cane? It's like grasshopper, bam. I got a friend who would have hit. He would have punched him in the face if he had done that. So.
Yeah, don't take advice from a man telling you to experience life that spends all day sitting and doing nothing.
That's true.
Yep. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on the hour. We gotta end the show. So this has been fun. But we're gonna have to get the drawing pad out. Maybe Ed and Cerberus, if I pronounce that right, get together and talk about consciousness a little bit and tell you some of my weird ass theories I've come up with over the years. See what you think.
Just don't ask them about hookers and clown suits, please.
That's all part of it. I'm sorry, but
wait, what was that? Hookers and clown suits?
Hookers and clown suits, and dead hookers are my spirit animal.
Ah.
I stole that from some dude. What the hell was that? That HBO news show Inside Edition, is it? Anyway, I stole that, so I don't want to take credit. But God, I love that one. Dead hookers are my spirit animal. Okay, so we're gonna end the live stream, guys. We're going away.
Good to see you guys.
You good with that?
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Stay curious.
Goodbye, cruel world. I'm hitting the red button.